talk Davante Adams trade to begin today's NFL Daily. I have real doubts it happens, but there's been a lot of speculation and sometimes hopium from other fan bases here. But the rumors are once again back. ESPN again mentioned it, so it is, being talked about, and we're always going to talk about what people are going to talk about. So do you want Davante Adams trade destinations? A more in-depth look at some potential options with the Raiders, in reality, I think, being the number one spot for him for the rest of 2024. If you want that, then share today's video for me. Adams' numbers are kind of sort of down, but not by a significant amount. He's still on pace for, frankly, pretty similar numbers to what he had last year. There's like a 70-yard difference in his pace from this year to what he did last season. But his numbers also dipped in his 17-game campaign in 2023 relative to his 2022 efforts and campaigns there. Hadn't been as good. He had gone to the Raiders to play with Derek Carr, his buddy. Carr gets moved on from after a year. I think in large part, Adams and guys like Max Crosby helped lead to the get rid of Josh McDaniels, which they were right to do because McDaniels was bad. And Adams has made comments for he doesn't want to get traded. He wants to stay with the Raiders. I don't think that type of stuff can and should be overlooked. But other teams, other fan bases would love to find a way to get them. That's why there are already Davante Adams trade odds out there. I think to the surprise of really nobody, the Jets lead the way at minus 2,000. The Chiefs are plus 450, which it's a bad bet. Don't take it. The Raiders are not trading Adams to the Chiefs. They would rather not. They would rather him hold out and never play again than flip him to KC. The Ravens actually could use him, but it's not quite a full-on Ravens move. Same with the Bills, but it is a fun idea. Pittsburgh is linked to every single wide receiver, so I think that certainly does make some sense. The Jets, though, I think pretty clearly stand out as the main option. Although I have my doubts he gets dealt. I think a decision is going to come this offseason when you have to make a call on his contract, but you would almost rather have the ability to keep Adams, and if you have a top 2 pick, go get a new quarterback or whatever you're picking, and have Adams than whatever you get for him via the trade market. So will the Raiders trade Davante Adams? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section with the pinned comment, actually, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. Let's break down some week 3 takeaways. Let's begin with the last one you had probably, which was Jayden Daniels was awesome against the Cincinnati Bengals. He was lights out. In particular, attacking the right side of the field. He didn't look left very often. The Commanders had a game plan to have success against Cincinnati as they continue to just not punt. They don't go backwards. They don't turn the football over. They move the ball fairly effectively. They're an EPA darling in a positive sense. And Daniels had his best stuff against Cincinnati. I still don't love the Cliff Kingsbury design on offense, but to make life easy on your quarterback, he's doing a fantastic job. It is very early. You don't want to anoint or disregard altogether a player after 3 games. But if you are a Commanders fan, you're probably feeling very, very excited. And if I were one, I am not. I would be absolutely drunk off the Kool-Aid because the stuff you've seen so far looks really, really good. Now, you haven't seen great stuff in Chicago out of Caleb Williams. And look, the numbers don't look great. The turnovers have to be ironed out. Make no mistake about that. I will say, I thought going back and watching the All-22 stuff, which I love the filters, makes my life a lot easier to focus on individual things as opposed to like having to scrub through. The All-22, the NFL Pro Premium Plus, whatever it is so much better now. I think there's a lot of better underlying stuff there. I think there are some mistakes from Bears receivers, some stuff that kind of was just bad breaks for Caleb Williams. I don't think the coaching staff is very good. I don't think the offensive line is very good. So the Bears are kind of Bearsing still. But if that can get just semi-smoothed out, there's still a lot of good stuff you've seen out of Caleb Williams. It doesn't show up necessarily in the overall game stats, but I think the underlying stuff, the foundation is good for Caleb Williams. So I would not be panicking on that for yet. But your coaching staff might not be very good. And your offensive line, you didn't address it properly, and you're paying the price for it, which you can't stunt the growth early. That was an issue for Justin Fields too. Now, today's show is made possible by Z-Biotics. Their pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, the alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. The pre-alcohol produces an enzyme designed to break this byproduct down. Remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. With this technology, they will release different products that have nothing to do with alcohol. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code on the screen right now to get 15% off your order when you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout. You can get a subscription with that code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or the occasion. Z-Biotics, back with the 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS. At checkout, 15% off. Big thank you to Z-Biotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's stick with our rookie quarterback theme before we get to some negative stuff. Bo Nix, in I think a very critical moment, showed some real signs of life in an upset win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He looked much more comfortable, much more confident. I think overall you saw a lot of the stuff that you were hoping you were going to see out of Bo Nix. I think that is a very important thing to consider. Now, the downfield passing is still maybe not where you're searching for it to be. You know, he had a little bit more success. He hit some deep shots. He was 2 of 3 beyond 20, 2 of 5 beyond 10. It's a big growth from what it was previously, and those explosive plays really help you out. But you upset the Bucs. Nix looked comfortable, looked confident. I think that was low bar, by far his best game as a QB. That's the stuff you want to see out of a first-year QB as he continues to grow and get better. So I was negative last week to Bo Nix. I will happily give him his flowers this week. Next up on the takeaways, the vibes are bad right now in Dallas. It is a really bad sign when you got players up there like Jordan Lewis and Micah Parsons and Tank Lawrence and Dak Prescott making comments about, we're not detailed, we're not professional, we're not doing our jobs, we're playing hero ball. And then head coach Mike McCarthy gets asked about that specifically and gets very defensive and dismissive of the question and takes a shot at the reporter like, oh, you practiced that one. Which is ironic because your team said you had a bad week of practice, and now you're criticizing someone for practicing, which may or not have even happened. The vibes are bad. They have to beat the Giants, or this season is about to go completely off the rails in Dallas. It is teetering right now. They cannot be better than the allegations this week. Embrace them. You only beat bad teams. Well, go blow out a bad team again. Otherwise, boy, we're going to be talking a lot on Friday. When do you fire Mike McCarthy? Even if he makes the season, I think there's real doubts about Big Mike making it as the head coach in 2025. So what is the percent chance that Mike McCarthy is back as the Cowboys head coach next year? Sound off in the comments of today's show. Number 5 takeaway from week 3, the Jags are in shambles. Look, that loss, which the Jags are lucky there was a second Monday Night Football game for people to go watch instead, because otherwise everyone would have been watching the entirety of the Bills do whatever they wanted at any point, the Jags having no answers on either side of the football, and frankly having a loss as ugly as any in the Urban Meyer disaster class era. They lost by 37. It's a good Buffalo team. Trevor Lawrence doesn't look confident. He's kind of seeing ghosts out there. You've sunk all this money into the offensive line, the wide receiver core. You need, I think the way this is trending, flush house, clean house. Doug Peterson looks lost. I don't know why he's so attached to Press Taylor. Trent Baalke is not and has never been a good NFL GM. I don't know why he gets so many chances. Doesn't make any sense to me. I am very worried about Jacksonville. They haven't had success since Thanksgiving. It's a long time, and we're almost a full calendar year now. We are getting closer and closer to 381,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, hit that sub button right now. Some NFL injury news, most of it not great. Javon Hargrave out for at least the regular season. A torn, I just kind of saw the play too. Like you saw when plays it happened on or happened afterwards. Like he didn't engage and just like you could tell he was in pain. It's a critical loss for San Francisco. They don't have great interior defensive line depth. For a team that has been pretty healthy over the past couple of years, the football gods against Los Angeles and California in general are seemingly very unhappy and throwing a lot of injuries that way. There's also more concern over Christian McCaffrey. It is never a good flag when you go overseas to see a specialist for an injury. That's normally like, okay, this is bad. Now, he went to Germany to see an Achilles specialist. I thought they all lived in Greece, but I digress. I don't know what the future looks like for McCaffrey, short term. Maybe you're doing some PRP stuff, which could potentially help. This injury clearly was worse than the Niners let on initially. I don't know when he's going to play again. I don't know how many games McCaffrey gets this year. He sunk a lot of people's fantasy teams because you had to take him number one, right? You were worried about it. How many games does McCaffrey end up playing this year? We shall stick in Los Angeles. The Rams are actually healthy this week. No new injuries. Good for them. Justin Herbert, however, aggravated his high ankle sprain in week 3. Between the plantar fascia, the high ankle sprain, there's some concerns there for Herbert being able to stay upright and healthy. Plus, Joe Alt is now hurt. Bunch of banged up bodies for the Chargers. Trent Brown, the Bengals tackle, out for the year with a torn patellar tendon. You could tell when it happened it was bad. Not to be mean, but he looked like when Peter Griffin gets hurt and he just like bent over himself. Like it was bad. And you knew it immediately. So hopefully he's able to make that full recovery, come back in the near future. But leg injuries for a giant human being are not good because you're putting a lot of pressure on those legs. So hopefully he can make it back for next year. In the meantime, Marius Mims will be the starter. Frank Ragnow, the tough-as-hell Lions center, is going to try to play through a partially torn pec, which just sounds not fun. So we'll see what happens on that front. He might miss some time, but he's going to try to gut through it. We'll see how effective he is, though. Oft-injured Chidobe Awuzie is once again hurt. He is going to go to IR with a groin injury, so that's going to stunt him and keep him out for a little bit there. We still don't, kind of surprised by this, nobody signed Caleb Farley, so maybe you could bring him back, although that might not be a very good option, all things considered. In Carolina, Adam Thielen is going to IR with a hamstring injury, which hamstring and IR is not a phrase you want to hear consistently. That's going to be at least a 4-week absence for the Panthers' number 2 receiver behind Deontay Johnson.